So, thank you, Mia. So, first up, we have Jared. Jared is an alumnus of Mount Clair State University, where he obtained a degree in human ecology. As a result, he has a strong sense of family and self-care. Growing up as a middle child in New Jersey, he has always had a knack for nurturing a strong desire to serve. These attributes show up today in his life by his love for houseplants, gardening, community involvement, of mostly importantly, postpartum doula work, as most may understand. So the male component is doulo and the female component is doula. So that's to help you guys get an understanding of where doulo came from. Residing in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Jared has been supporting new parents transitioning their lifestyle to welcome life into their environments. As a father of two children himself, Jared understands the challenges that many families face post-birth and is passionate about the paternal role in the household. He is flexible in his approach to serve families by either working with the birth couple together or servicing their individual needs. Jared is a BLS provider and also received CPR certification from the American Heart Association. As a proud and active member of Daddy University, whoop, he is aligned with their mission of providing fathers with an experience and expert knowledge and resources that need to be the fathers they want to be for their children, but more importantly, to be an ally and a resource. That was Jared. Thank you, Jared.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Next up, we have Makeem. Makeem is a father of twins. He is residing currently in North Philadelphia. To quote him, he says, "I am not perfect, but when it comes to being a father, I'm pretty much close to it. Being a father is my only job. I try to do good regardless of what people may say. I am a young father trying to do for my kids that wasn't done for me." Makeem, please acknowledge yourself into this atmosphere. We welcome that for sure.
How y'all doing?
And we also have next up, Randall, forgive me, our very own participant, Randall. I'm sorry, I'm just getting Randall's information. And so Randall is a 21-year-old tile settler and father to an 11-month-old baby girl. As he quotes, "My girlfriend has exclusively breastfeeding since the day she was born. Today, I would like to talk about my experiences with breastfeeding and tips for fathers who are new to this beautiful lifestyle." Randall's actually multitasking as we speak. He is joining us not from San Francisco, but from the likeliness of 476 as he is still working. He is just being a super father altogether, clear example. And without further ado, I would like to introduce Dr. Onaje. Dr. Onaje is a male postpartum duo. Dr. Onaje Muwait is the fatherhood coordinator for the Foundation of Delaware County. Using his over 35 years of social work professional experience, he is leading the developmental plans for both the Fatherhood Coordinating Committee and in-house planning group for future integrate fatherhood programs inside the foundation, and co-leads the Fatherhood Engagement Committee to create a fatherhood continuum of care in Delaware County. He holds a doctorate and master's degree in social work, a license in mental health, and a credentialing in substance abuse treatment. He was inducted into the New York Academy of Medicine as a fellow in 2015 and a fellow for therapeutic spiral international studying psychodrama in 2019. He lives in Lansdowne, PA with his wife, Dr. Fatima Hafiz, as they enjoy being grandparents with their blended family as they continue to participate in campaigns for radical healing, and equity through community building and reparations. Dr. Onaje, without further ado, please take it away for our village today.
Thank you so much. I want to thank the Delaware Coalition for Breastfeeding. The work that you've done over the years is certainly stellar, and we need you so much. And for you to invite us to be in your space into your house, I want to say thank you. There's a tradition uh, in Africa that says when you ask the elders to speak. Now, of course, I'm the elder, but I'm going to respect the house and ask permission from you. Can I speak?
Absolutely. I've been
Well,
waiting
thank you.
all day.
Thank you so very much. So we're here, our village, a partner's view of maternal health. It's been said that the village is a small settlement, usually found in rural settings, but we're going to expand that definition and really look at village as um, the combination of caring, loving relationships. And the village is how we live, how we survive, how we thrive. And in the context of this conversation, I think it's important to mention that some villages have some challenges on the question of birth. So because breastfeeding is inside of the larger question of birth equity and maternal care equity, there's some things we'd want to recognize that in many Black and Brown communities, breastfeeding has had some challenges from many different directions. The first being many Black women and even Latino women had to nurse other people's babies and deny their babies that same milk. And when you add to that the need for women to work and not be home with their children, many women were deprived a birthright, a natural right to actually breastfeed their children. So there's so many obstacles in the way, and that is to say, we need fathers to be involved in the support of maternal health and support of breastfeeding. So I want to salute these young men who are here with us today. As an older man, as an elder, in fact, it really does my heart good to have these young men here because they are breaking traditions. They are breaking the things which have not been supportive. In fact, they are taking on new traditions. As it was mentioned, Brother Jared is a doulos, and we say doulos for the O in terms of masculine. And that's a very new thing. This is a rare phenomena that's starting to happen in very small places. But here in Delaware County, we are taking that leadership and making that available. So with that, I want to welcome all the panelists and thank you for who you are, what you're doing, how you're supporting your partners. And um, I would say that we're going to approach this subject from the point of view of not you supporting your partners, because that almost gives the idea that you're tangential, that you're adjunct, that you're on the side and you're kind of helping out. Well, we know that you don't help out, you don't help out, but we want to say that you're standing on the place of responsibility as what? As a partner. Right. So all the things that need to get done, we're saying that and you've already agreed to this, and you are doing this. You are doing it in partnership with your partner, not as I'm supporting her. No, you are assuming your responsibility. So again, I want to recognize all of you for doing that, this position in which you stand. So I have a few questions for you, and we're going to do what is called round robin, and have you answer a few questions. Okay. Okay, let me pull up my question. The first question is, how does having a village, or excuse me, what does having a village mean to you? And I'm going to start with Randall.
Sorry, figure that out. So having a village to me, it means really having like a really good support group and people to fall on if you need help with anything. And honestly, I've been lucky enough to have a really good village with my family, also my girlfriend's family. Even though her mom does live in Pittsburgh, which is a little bit farther, she's still very supportive. And obviously, my mom's really awesome. And I could tell that it really helps my girlfriend also with if she's stressed out about the baby or stressed out about feeding her, it's easy for her to just call my mom and have a conversation with her, or even have my mom come and watch the baby and give her. Sometimes they need breaks, and sometimes my mom will give her a break.
Okay. Okay.
That's why I
Now,
was looking for.
so let me piggyback on something. The Foundation for Delaware County just successfully had its second Fatherhood Summit yesterday. Last year, our theme was get into the father game. This year, our theme was assume your role. So, what is your role in this village that you just talked about? What have you self-assigned and defined as your role in this village?
Honestly, I would say my role is just honestly to, help my girlfriend as much as she can with everything that she needs, and mostly just be there for her and my daughter as much as I can. I mean, honestly, I haven't even been taking a lot of time to, I'm trying to think of the word, staying late at work, because I just like to be home with my daughter all the time and hang out with her and give my girlfriend a break. And I've been working lately, actually, for like the last week, and actually I've been upset about it, that I'm getting home a little later and I can't hang out with my daughter as much as I usually do.
So you're sharing with us one of the obstacles that's standing in the way of you fulfilling these responsibilities that you say are yours, and certainly I can understand that, and hope that that works out in some kind of way. But we want to talk about the obstacles because the community, the larger village, right, has to help us in solving those challenges so that you can spend more time with your daughter. Thank you so much. I'm going to move over to Markeen and ask him the same two questions. What does having a village mean to you? And then after that, share with us what you think or what you have decided your role is in that village.
Okay. To me, for me, I really think like a village is like probably a foundation of what you base yourself around, or it's like a village. I say like I can't put the word together right now, but probably like your family. A village is like family. People you consider family or close friends enough.
Hmm.
I say I think yeah, I could say it like that. Like it's just family or people. A village is like your circle to me. Like like who you could go to, run to, somebody a shoulder to lean on, or you could be a shoulder for somebody. It differs. Everybody village is different. It wouldn't really be a village if everybody village was the same, or everybody thought of it as the same way. So that's why I see it as like a circle or a group. That's why I really feel as though.
And what is your role in the village that you're a part of?
Well, I like to be a leader. So in my case, I would say I would be the chief of the village. And that really
Okay.
establish dominance and all that, to be honest. But yeah, I say like thinking and I really say like my village is like me, my girlfriend, and my kids. There's others, but I say that's my village. Because I feel as though I like as a man and as a father, I'm supposed to protect, provide, and etc. for that, for my certain village. And I feel as though I feel like I'm the chief. I'm supposed to provide, bring meals, money, wherever I can provide, I'll bring it.
All right. Okay, King Markeen.
Yeah.
All right. I love it. I love it. And now to our doulos, our brother Jared. What is the village? What does it mean to you? And what is your role in the village?
Yeah, so I think a lot of those things that McKean kind of described is the same thing that shows up in my village. I like to think of myself as a leader within the village, but also a partner in my village as well. Because, a lot of things that I go through in life, I go through with my wife. And so we kind of navigate those experiences together. And her insight is different than mine and vice versa. And so we need that in order to kind of navigate those experiences in the right way. So I like to think of myself as a partner in the village as well, but also just a resource, because my village expands outside of my immediate family. As everybody knows on this panel, that I'm a duo as well. So when I am working with my own clients, I'm there to be a support system for them as well. So anything that I can do to help them navigate the space of postpartum, that's what I'm there to do. And I assume be a supportive role in that. But having a support system and having a village is paramount to me. And I think that anybody who has a family is also going to be paramount to them as well. So it means a lot to have that, you know?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, gentlemen, let me ask you this. Did you hear anything from the other panelists that you'd want to adopt? Because we're here to learn from each other as well. Was there anything that you heard from another panelist that said, you know what, I like that. Let me adopt that as well, because we are adding, right? Every time we add, we're growing, we're becoming stronger. So was there anything that actually resonated with either one of you from what you've heard? Yes. Okay.
Well, they say what Jared said, definitely as a partner. I definitely that was something I was like, but as soon as we said, I was like, I should have said that too. I ain't think of it like that. Because like you see like we talk, well, since we're speaking on the village, if you're a leader in it, you can't lead by yourself. And like you said with his wife, I feel like that with me and my girlfriend. I feel as though that's probably it. That's not one of my strong suits, but that's something I definitely could work on. I tried with supporting, and that was definitely something I definitely think about. So he definitely got me there. So thank you.
So Jared, the king has said that he has summoned you to his court, and you have to give him some
Well, I guess I
instructions
gotta
on
obey then.
how. Wonderful. This is really important because it moves right into the second series of questions, and that is, what is your view as a partner, and particularly in strengthening maternal health? And this is so very important in our communities. So many Black women are dying within the first year of birth, that there's people are saying that we need to create a fourth trimester. That's how serious these statistics are. And we know that all research has found when the father is involved in each stage, certainly in the pregnancy, we got that right. But in the later pregnancy, the birth, and the postpartum, right, when the father is involved, it increases the mother's health. So, gentlemen, please share with us, and anyone can go first who chooses to. What is your view as a partner in strengthening maternal health? What did you do? I'm just asking, what have you done already?
So, my experience in postpartum was a tough one, and it was a tough one because first time parent is going to be tough for anybody. But it was a tough one just because there were a lot of things that we experienced in our pregnancy that we just weren't prepared for, which is the reason why it kind of pushed me into this work. But in postpartum, or just in the perinatal, like it's my responsibility to sharpen my wife, and it's my wife's responsibility to sharpen me as well. So we're there to support one another, because I'm looking out for signs in my wife that, anybody else who is not as close to her would not be able to recognize, and vice versa. And I think it's also important to note that men can suffer from postpartum as well, which is something that happened to me. And so she was there to kind of see those signs as well. So again, kind of sharpening one another, like that is our role within the postpartum period, is to making sure that we're being a support system for each other, but also sharpening those skills so we can like, again, be that resource for one another and our entire village, really. That's really what it boils down to.
Mm-hmm. McKean, Randall?
Yeah, like, see, Jared hitting all the good points. Like, all right, for a sec, you like say the question again for me so I can make sure I'm answering it.
What we're looking at, we're interrogating the question, we're asking the question, what is your view as a partner in strengthening maternal health, particularly what's been your experience, how you've supported your wife, your partner?
All right. You're like Jerry. He take it out of my mouth. He just make it sound better than what I would say. But like he said, like strengthening each other weaknesses. Like I know when like this pregnancy, the second pregnancy with my girlfriend right now, I can't say it wasn't as I really felt as though I lacked a lot, and she tells me I lacked because of how like certain things went. I broke up. We broke up. Well, it broke up because I thought we was getting right before we broke up, like probably a little after she found out she was pregnant, due to like I guess we wasn't strengthening each other or whatnot. But I feel as though like it's a teamwork. Like parenting, relationship is not as like I said, me being a leader, my chief. Well, that's like that's like in the wolf pack. I say you have an alpha, then you have a female alpha, and sometimes they have to coexist or work together. So they probably like snag a mill. Say like one alpha, they try and take down a bear. Can't take down a bear or something by yourself. You might need that help. That's a weird way. I don't know. I can put it in, but it's I really it's like complicated. Like I know I'd be trying. I know with this pregnancy, like she wobbles, big stomach everywhere. So it's like certain movements you can't make. Or I say it's observation. Well, I'm like observing and seeing certain things. Cause like my girlfriend, she accident prone, real accident prone. Anything she get her stomach or she get bumped her stomach, and that's something for me, I get real irritated if I see like her getting bumped or somebody bumping her. So it's like if I'm out, her stomach wide, people be trying to squeeze past little space for her, then I gotta move her out the way or something so nobody don't bump her. So it's a lot. It's really a lot. Like I said, like I can't really give it a manual or instructions on it. I can just speak on certain things I picked up, like just watching.
And what are you also being like a protector in a way?
Like,
so also being like a protector in a way for her and protecting her through that period.
Yeah, because that's when they were vulnerable. But these are the hormones. I can't. It's the hormones for me. Like they're everywhere. The hormones is everywhere. Attitude. One minute they hate you, then they love you. Get out my face, come back. It's very bizarre and mind-boggling. But like watching, like seeing the stomach, feeling your son or daughter kick through the stomach while she's pregnant, it definitely have a good moments. It gets good. It's a handful. I really say it's a handful.
Do you feel that you have a greater level of compassion, right, for the hormonal changes that you might witness this time in the second pregnancy, because you noticed some things from your last experience? What things are you going to do differently this time?
The attitude, the angry, it's like the not so much negative, but the negative part of the hormones, like irritation, this, that, and the third. like I say now, close to the end of the pregnancy, I'm just starting to like just I'm just starting to like just leave it, just forget it. Don't even let it get to me. Just I try to ignore it or be oblivious to it. Because you can't be mad. Like you can't, you feel me? It does get frustrating for sure. Definitely get frustrating.
Okay, it takes emotional intelligence. Got it. Thank you so much, Randall. Okay, what you got?
Sorry, can you just repeat the question one more time?
Certainly. What is your view as a partner in strengthening maternal health? And basically, I'm asking, what's been your experience in supporting
I
your wife, your
so
partner?
for me, for honestly, what I would say is that you know, when they say something's bothering them or they feel a certain type of way about something, you shouldn't blow them off. And any decisions that they make, you know, even before they have the baby or while they're pregnant or after, you know, you should really take them in and consider them because you know they think about it a lot, and to just blow someone off is just you know that'll make them feel some type of way. And I know after the pregnancy, it's still a real emotional roller coaster, and you should just try your best to, you know, make them happy for real, honestly.
I hear compassion coming up again. I hear emotional intelligence coming up again. Okay, okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Jared?
Can I just add to that though? I thought that
Certainly.
that was a really good point that Randall made when he was just like, you know, you just really need to pay attention to what they're saying. Um, and it really just kind of for me, it goes back to the supportive role only because just as you mentioned earlier, like the Black maternal health rate, you know, is not comparable to other races. And so when we're in these particular situations where we're in doctor's offices and they might say they might have a pain here or they may not be feeling right today or whatever the case may be, it's our responsibility as the fathers but also as the supporting partner to not only believe them but to speak up for them, to be an advocate for them. And I just thought that what Randall was saying was really smart, and I think that just needed to be highlighted in that moment.
I must give all of you your psychic credentials because all of you are just anticipating my questions. I saw a film this year. I can't remember the person's name, but it was such a sad story where this gentleman was in the hospital with his wife, and he's telling them that they need to give her attention. And what the nurse said to him was, "I'm sorry, sir, your wife is not our priority." This is what she said to him. She was
Mm,
bleeding internally for 6 hours in the hospital. She was bleeding internally. After the
wow,
husband has been asking them to come in and see about her, they finally brought her in and they did an operation, and she didn't make it. I think her name
wow,
was Keisha. I'll look forward to get up. It's a film that everyone has to see and just brace yourself because it's so sad. And not only is it sad, the question is other times, how many other times is that happening? So I'm asking you, gentlemen, what obstacles have you faced in terms of you assuming this role as a good partner to ensure your partner's maternal health? What obstacles have you faced?
Um, I'm sorry to backtrack, but I think I know what you was talking about. The movie. I ain't see the movie. No, I did not watch the movie, but I saw like a clip of they were showing a clip on that on TikTok. So I seen it like a few days ago. So I know exactly what you was talking about. I remember seeing that. But to answer your question, I say so with me, it's like what Randall said. Well, paying attention and all. Like she asked for something. But that's like with me, because when I'm in a appointment with my girl at a baby appointment, sometimes she'll be like, oh, she be complaining to me. Oh, my back, my hip, my feet. I'm having bad contractions, and then when she gets to an appointment, she'll forget to say all that. So sometimes I might write it down, or I try to remember everything that she's complaining about, and I bring it up to a doctor. And sometimes I feel as though like doctors don't really like. I don't know. I don't know if I ain't gonna pull a race card or anything, but I sometimes feel like it's a race thing, because when I'm telling them, like, probably if I'm saying something that my girl was complaining to me about, that's like when me and my kids, when we went to Atlantic City and my girl was having bad contractions, we went to the hospital. She was like, oh, this, that, and the third. She was telling them a little bit of stuff, but she wasn't telling them everything. So I was right there in her ear. I was like, excuse me, no, this is what happened. She been feeling like this since 8 this morning, saying this at 1. And they just looked at it. I don't know, probably just a look. But I just felt like, I don't know if they were shocked or something, or I know one of them was shocked because they didn't really expect like a parent or father to be paying attention to know, or to be answering questions that the mother couldn't, or the pregnant one that really couldn't remember. So I really try to every appointment I go to with my girlfriend, if anything that's concerning her and she forgets, I make sure to bring it up. So I think it's like this paying attention to little things.
And I like that idea. Have that notebook. Have that little, the little fold over notebook that you can carry in your pocket. Yeah,
I know.
and keep a record of it. Because yeah, very very good point. So, gentlemen, what obstacles have you faced in supporting your partner in maternal health?
I have to echo kind of what McKean was saying. And within maternal health, there hasn't been a whole lot of space for fathers to be there. And so with my own experience, going to doctor's appointments with my wife, like there are times where the doctor wouldn't even acknowledge the fact that I'm in the room. So like, they would be having all of the questions directed towards my wife, rightfully so, right? Because she's the one carrying. But to McKean's point, there's some things that, my wife couldn't remember, that's what I'm there for. And even if I did speak up, the doctor would then still respond to my wife again, as if I'm not even in the room. So that in and of itself to me is an obstacle within this space, is acknowledging the fact that, fathers are having children as well. I mean, women are laboring the children, yes, but we're also there, at these doctor's appointments. We're in the labor room, we're there after the baby is there. So we're also having kids as well. So just acknowledging our presence is a huge, huge obstacle, in my opinion, that we have to consistently combat. And then just having space like this to talk about these things and to air out our grievances is another obstacle that we face, because just like any human, fathers have a thing where you are faced with a situation where if you are unsure about it, in an uneasy space, it's either fight or flight, right? So like either you're gonna fight through the uncertainty, you're gonna fight through the pain, you're gonna fight through the emotions, or you're just gonna leave. So that in and of itself, I think, is an even bigger obstacle than just like ignoring the fact that fathers are there in the first place. Those two for me are the two things that I, with my own experience, have gone through, but I consistently see when I talk to other fathers and with my clients as well, that they just need to be acknowledged in that fact.
How did that make you feel to be ignored like that?
I'm gonna go up. I'd be irritated.
Wait. Hold on, McKean. Jared, how did you feel after that? After those?
I mean, honestly, I felt disrespected. I felt
disrespect,
marginalized, and I felt irrelevant and disposable. Irrelevant and disposable. Like those are the feelings that I felt, and every single time I left, the appointment, I'd be, having a conversation with my wife, like fuming, because it's just like, this is, you know, well, I mean, essentially paying you to take care of my wife, or I'm entrusting you with my wife's care. But you can't acknowledge the fact that my wife didn't make this baby on her own. So like, I'm here as well. Like, I'm here for the concern and the health of my wife as well. So, you know, there was a number of emotions, and I could go through them all, but I don't think we have the time for that. So,
Thank you for sharing. It seems to me that all those feelings could be summarized in terms of dehumanization. Like you were dehumanized in those moments, ignored, you know, marginalized. Uh, how did you handle it? What did you do?
most times my wife got the brunt of that. But and when I say the brunt of it, I mean, like, I would just be venting to her after the appointment. But once it got to my my wife's second pregnancy with my daughter, and it got towards the end of her pregnancy, it really took for the doctor to want to push a C-section on my wife for me to like really, hop into insert myself into the conversation and be like, hey, listen, so this is what we're trying to do here, so we're having a VBAC. This is what we planned on. So like, this is what we really want to push for. And it helped me understand like why you're not, allowing us or advocating for us to do that. But also, you have to understand, like, when my wife was pregnant the second time, this was in like full-blown COVID. So I wasn't allowed even in the building where the appointment was, let alone in the appointment room. So again, just inserting myself into that experience is what I really had to do. I had to be assertive, because most times guys are just like falling back because they don't know what to do, what to say, how to support in that moment. So again, it's either like you retract, you flight and retract, or you do the opposite of that. And so I really had to like stand up in that moment, because I was just like, my wife feels some type of way. This is what we planned for. So, you're not gonna mess with my wife here. And especially not her health and my baby's health. Like, that's really what had to happen in that moment.
Thank you for sharing that. And King Johnson wants to add to that. Yes, King.
No, I was saying I feel exactly how Jared feel. Like, I definitely feel like I be like after every appointment, it'd be like sometimes I know they got the I forgot, it's called like hippo, something like that. There's a
Yeah.
privacy draw. Yeah, because I know I'll be right there with the right there. She asks her questions and all that. And sometimes it'd be like, I be trying to ask, I be ready to ask, like, yeah, if she feel this type of way, is there anything I could do or I can help with her? And I feel they were like, I don't know. In my head, I just be like, they be like, yo, like, why are you talking? This, that, and the third. So sometimes I just be quiet till after it. And like, I'm at this point, I just be laughing at this point, most times. Because I could be right there in the hospital, and then I be with my girl all day, every day, but mostly I'm all day. And then she'd go to a doctor, then later on that night, then they'll try to call her and they do a little HIPAA, but oh yeah, do you feel safe around him? I'm like, really? I'd be like, you know what, that's protocol. So I'd be like, I just be laughing at it. But at least like I remember when I went to a different hospital and they had to ask her one type of question, they at least told me, oh, we gotta ask her some personal questions. I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, these about safe Jones and all. They were like, yeah, at least they told me that. Any other time they just look at me. Like my girl with a pen, and they just be looking at me. And I be like, sometimes policy and all that, I get it, but like certain things, I just be like, I just feel like wasn't really called for. That's like when they checking a female inside the cervix and all that, see how dilated she is. I'm like, they be like, okay, we want to give us some privacy. You can you step out, get out? I be like, well, I was already. How you think the baby got in there? I was in there. You feel me? So, but I know it still be a privacy. So after, like Jared said, after me and my girl, we just be conversating. I just bail off it. And at this point, I just be like, I at least try, be like, you mean excuse me, or sometimes they say, oh, I could do something to help, probably with contractions or help her any way I could with the pregnancy. And they try, if they tell me, they tell me. They don't, I just be like, oh well.
Okay, playing an active role. Randall, you've heard a lot from your co-panelists, and I want to give you some substantial time here because I don't want you to feel left out of the conversation. I just really want to open this space. Um, is is my assumption correct that you are Latino male?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay, so
hmm
from a Latino male's point of view, how what's been your experience? What obstacles have you felt? Um, are there certain things being a Latino male that you feel hasn't been a part of this conversation that needs to be part of this conversation?
Honestly, the biggest obstacle that we had was definitely like Sarah was saying was the whole COVID situation, not being able to go to any appointments. And honestly, that goes back to like maternal health. Like my girlfriend was really upset that I couldn't go to any of those appointments, couldn't be there with her to hear what the doctor said. And all she could do is come home and tell me what happened. And that does really suck, especially like I know me personally, I like to do stuff with other people and not be alone. And it makes me feel more comfortable, or it's always nice being with someone that you feel comfortable with, especially if you don't know what the doctor's gonna say. You don't know what's going on really for sure. So I would say that was definitely one of the big obstacles. But I feel like another obstacle would be like after the baby. I mean, my work only gave me like what a week off of work after the baby, and I just feel like that that's a time where I feel like the mother needs your help the most right after the baby's born. So you can help her. I know me personally, we had a we had a my girlfriend, not me, but my girlfriend had a home birth. So since the moment the baby came out, I mean, I was helping her move from parts of the room to the other part of the room to go to the bathroom. And once that week was up, she had to do it herself, honestly. And I actually it's that sad to really think that that's kind of what happened. But I feel like there should be more things for fathers to like get off of work so they can spend some time with their daughter or son or daughter, and also just to help their partner. And they just went through something really, I wouldn't say traumatic because it's really beautiful, but they went through something. And to have someone by their side for more than a week would be beautiful, honestly, too.
Randall, you said something which I can't recall having much conversations about. That is, you having the courage to have a home birth. That takes a lot of courage. Was that your idea? Was that her idea? What was that
No,
conversation like
that
between you and her, and say like we're going to do a home birth?
honestly, if I'm gonna be completely honest, I wasn't liking the idea at first. I was more
Oh,
nervous because not that I don't trust her to make decisions. It's more of like anything can happen, and I've seen movies, I've heard stories of stuff that can happen, and I was a little bit afraid to for anything to happen in my house and not be at the hospital already. I mean, granted, we weren't even like 2 minutes away from the hospital, but regardless, she didn't want to have the baby there. So, and the conversation was pretty simple. I mean, she said she wanted to do it, and it was just like, all right, that's what you want, then let's just do it. And honestly, I would say, I don't know if it was better because I've never, went through a pregnancy at a hospital before, but I know that after she felt really good about doing it, and that she was excited about, we were just in our room basically in my mom's, and after the baby's born, everyone just kind of walked away, but it also gave me the chance to go to the appointments and stuff. They let you in all the appointments, and I think she decided around like 4 months that she was going to do that. So it was just like months of me not being able to help her and, and be there during those appointments to, okay, now I'm going to every appointment and I get to meet these midwives and they get to come to my house. I get to meet them and get comfortable with them.
That's incredible. It takes a
Mhm.
lot of courage, and for you to step back, right? When she said this is what she wants, because it is her body, right? I mean, you're both having the baby, but it is her body, and that you respected her point of view and her desire is really really phenomenal. And I want to acknowledge you for that, and that's all men, take your lead in terms of how you show that deference to her. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank
Oh,
you so much. That was quite something there. Um, I want to now ask you. Baby comes, baby's there, and of course the baby has to get fed. This is the Breastfeeding Coalition. So, what has been, gentlemen, what's been your experience with breastfeeding? And of course, some men do chest feeding where the milk is put in the bottle and the baby is laying on the chest of the father and still has that experience, that skin to skin experience. Have any of you participated in chest feeding, and how have you assisted your partners in breastfeeding?
I would honestly say that I didn't expect breastfeeding to be like so much. Like I never really thought about it that much, but it's a full-time job. Like it's insane. I when you realize how many times like they have to do it a day and they really can't be away from the baby that long at all because they feed a lot, especially when my daughter was younger, like cluster feeding, she would feed all the time. Or and I always thought, like I don't know. I didn't know too much about it. I thought it was kind of like a breakfast, lunch, and dinner thing, and it couldn't be farther from that. It's constant. And and I never really thought um thought about like stuff like a lot of stuff that me and my girlfriend can't do, and it's honestly because we can't be away from the baby that long because she does need to eat. And at first, it was a change because we used to do a lot of stuff, and now honestly, I'm just kind of used to it now. Like it is definitely a different lifestyle. I would call it a lifestyle because your your life really does change completely 180 from being with the baby constantly.
What is one thing you wish you knew starting breastfeeding that you know now but you didn't know then? I mean, you kind of just gave us one, so give us another one.
Um, One thing I didn't know, I would say that some girls struggle with breastfeeding. I didn't know that either. I just assumed that you know that's just what happens. That everybody, and I didn't know that people prefer to breastfeed over not. I didn't know the differences between any of it. And honestly, I mean, my mom is really into. I know she does that stuff for work, and she's really into it, and my girlfriend's really into it. So I mean, just like eavesdropping on their conversations, I'm like learning stuff about breastfeeding that I didn't know.
I hear that. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Jared, your experience with breastfeeding or chest feeding?
Yeah, I actually did do some chest feeding. And the reason why I did it is because my thought process is that the the babies had a lot of time to bond with the mother in the womb. And so out of the womb is my opportunity to bond with them as much as I can. And so when you have the baby's undivided attention when they're feeding, is an opportunity for you to bond with them. And so I did chest feeding with my kids as well, just, bare chest with the bottle, trying to do it that way. Um, but my wife tried to do breastfeeding with both our children. Um, and wasn't really successful just because she wasn't producing as much milk as we thought the babies needed. And so we ended up transitioning over to formula. But I will say that with doing the breastfeeding initially, um, a lot of those things which Randall kind of already went over, the things that we were, or I speak for myself, like I just wasn't aware of, like, it might not be a thing, might not be able to breastfeed, or breastfeeding is not for everybody. Um, some people just can't handle the demand that the body needs to do breastfeeding. Um, and it was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely was tough. So that was another reason why we decided to move over to formula. But I highly recommend even to some of the clients that I work with to do chest feeding, because it gets you a chance to just bond with the kids, and I loved it myself.
Thank you. Given this subject, and it just really just dawned on me this moment that one of the most important senses we have, in fact, is smell.
Mm.
Yeah, smell. Why? Because the scent goes through the blood-brain barrier and it goes right to your brain. And so it's not just a question of the skin to skin contact. What I'm thinking that also the baby is actually smelling you and knowing your scent, knowing, oh, that's dad, and this is mom, right? So you're actually increasing the baby's ability to negotiate the world because now they have another reference point, not just one. And of course, that's going to build the relationship. So I have to go back and look into the literature to see how that might be part of the research that has taken place. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and I want to congratulate you for the chest feeding, breastfeeding as well. And we must go to the king, King McKean.
I don't got that much of experience breastfeeding or chest feeding to be I'm sorry, or chest feeding exec, because I know when my girlfriend tried to breastfeed with twins.
That's a challenge. Sounds like to me.
The
Yeah,
bad part.
it's like one baby was latching, then the other one wasn't trying to latch. It didn't have enough
Mm,
breastfeed. I mean, they had to pump biolutes. Then they had to pump them back to back and wasn't probably having enough milk or wasn't producing enough milk.
hmm
It was in the beginning. Beginning, it wasn't enough milk, but then probably after pumping, I mean, it started to accumulate, and then some unforeseen circumstances happened, and she just stopped.
hmm
So my son will be here real soon. So hopefully, I say I could. Hopefully, we could try again with the breastfeeding and all that. But I know with the skin to skin contact, I definitely did that. Even in the hospital, like skin to skin contact, feeding them. But the chest, I don't know, the chest feeding joint, I don't know, because I just had them. I don't know, it was hard because I always had one daughter. Well, one was asleep. I always had one daughter sleep on me on my chest. But it was hard. Yeah, chest feeding, I don't really have no idea because I ain't never do it. But I think that's all I really got on breastfeeding, was just probably it. Females, what they're trying to accumulate breast milk or keep it flowing and that whatnot. You mean I actually, yeah, I don't really know that much, so that's the best I was able
Thank
to
you.
come
So,
up with.
so this question isn't only directed to Bakeem, but to all of you. And this is not really blaming; it's just being honest, right? If you wanted your wife, your partner to do something, let's say breastfeeding, and she wasn't able to. Some men, want to have sex, with their partners soon after um, birth of the baby, right? Anything that the partner used to do or couldn't do, did any of you feel a little judicious, had some, feelings for her, like, you should be doing this? Did you find yourself in those spaces? And if you did, how did you bring compassion for yourself and compassion to her?
I would say, like if my girlfriend wasn't able to breastfeed, I don't think I'd be, like pushing it on her or anything. Or if she like it just has to go back with the maternal house. Just listen to what they want to do, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's anyone's place to really try to force someone to do something that they don't want to. And that most of the time they just had the baby. Like, shouldn't be like hassling them about anything. And it takes patience from both sides. I honestly think you should have patience with the baby for them, have patience with them, because like I said, it's not a traumatic experience, but it's a big experience. And that's something that has to settle in. I know after some births that the mom wouldn't usually like to be near the baby. I know I've heard that happens sometimes, but you shouldn't be like, you need to hold the baby, blah blah blah, you need to do this, blah blah blah, because everyone's at their own pace, and that's what makes them comfortable. Then you should be supporting it as their partner.
I
gonna give
totally
all
agree. I'm sorry, Dr. Onaji. I just want to quickly jump in just for time constraints, because we have some things also, and I want to really the chat. I don't know if you guys can see it, but our Q&A section is buzzing, and so I want to make sure that we allow enough time for our our guests to have their concerns followed up with as well. Just from the questions that Dr. Onaji has been asking, the conversation is real. The conversation has been real. We are here for it. We are here to empower our doulos and our men, and even our women, to empower our men, right? But I wanted to really quickly just end or the village chat with I wanted to learn about the co-parent experience within the few minutes that we have. So I wanted to see how I'm big on co-parenting. Everyone who knows me knows I host a co-parenting class, and it's mainly focused around men so that they can feel better supported. So how does co-parenting resonate with each of the panelists? Just to give some type of insight in co-parenting, my definition of co-parenting would be for anyone that helps to raise your children. That's your village, right? So what does co-parenting look like to you in your own personal reflective lens? So no one will have the same answer. Jared, I'll start with you.
Sure, I'll take that. Well, one thing that I am proud about with my wife and I is that we are passionate about our kids. So there is not, if I say no, then that means that it means no for mommy too. And so we're just on the same page when it comes to what we want, how we want to raise our kids. And even if we're not on the same page, like as a couple, or we just have our rough patch or whatever the case may be, whenever it comes to the kids, like we are aligned. And I think that that's super important when it comes to kids, because kids are smart. Okay. So if they know that they can divide the parents, they're going to do it. And that comes with anybody, whether it's a parent or a grandparent or aunt, uncle, whatever the case may be. So, having a solid foundation for children is something that I'm always going to advocate for, because we all have had our own experiences as children, and we want different for our kids. And so having an alignment with my wife on how our kids are raised and how we're parenting them is super important to me, and I'm proud of the fact that we are able to do that regardless of what's going on between her and I.
Amazing. Randall, you want to jump in?
I would say with co-parent, just like you said, like it's really nice to be on the same page as each other. And obviously sometimes that's not always it might be a little harder to agree with some things that your partner might have to say, just off the fact that you were raised different and you saw different, and you think that this will make this happen, but you really should take into fact like what each other is saying. And that goes for both ways, for the mother and the father. and maybe even just sit down and talk about, all right, well, we can do this. Let's think of something that we both are going to win, and ultimately our child's going to win with.
And Makeem, I'm coming, and I saved you specifically last because Makeem is a father of twins, twin girls, and he has a boy on the way. And so with co-parenting, this is, twins and then a boy. So how have you begun to prepare, even though your twins are young? How have you begun to prepare for your co-parenting, or how has co-parenting been for you so far? Because you mentioned about like going to the doctor's appointments and how you felt some discrepancies with that. And now how do you feel as far as, co-parenting? Like, how do you find yourself in alliance with each other?
I say it's hard. I think it's based on communication, on how you communicate with the mother, actually. Because I know, when you're dealing with a pregnancy, you're like, oh yeah, we're gonna set this up for the kid. It was a lot of what we're gonna do, what was to do. And some didn't follow through, but others, like certain things said we were gonna do, wanted to have didn't follow through. And that's what I'm trying to do differently with my son. And that goes, when I say like that, that goes for like who who's around, who I let around my son, who I let around my kids, because it was certain situations where me and my kids' mom, we bumped heads over like certain situations we could come to agree on together. But I feel as though, as a parent, regardless of what I say, like once we have kids, anything that involves the kids, we have to come together with. We have to come together with. We don't see eye to eye with something. That's like probably what they could be like, all right, when you want to start potty training or discipline, it all like stuff like that. That all goes. We gotta talk. We gotta talk to each other about it. You really gotta like talk to each other, because tongue tied right now, tongue twister. But it's like, yeah, with girls, because I like one daughter is literally is me with a light skinned face, and the other daughter is my girlfriend. Her face, personality, and all that. Me growing up, I wasn't a perfect student. I'm a hothead, a little anger problems, I guess, and I see it with my kids. And it's just like with certain things, like I try to tell my kids, like my girlfriend, we talk together, we like certain things with our kids, like schools, college, or like their future. We gotta come together. We can't let, as a parent, and you can't let others come in. You can't let others put their input on how we handle our kids, because it's other. That's like on social media. That's like on social media. We can't let people. We can't. It's like I forgot. It's like it's insiders and outsiders. People that's inside that know what's going on, and people that's outside looking in and giving the input, and they don't know what's really going inside the house. If if y'all can understand that, because I know sometimes it's hard trying to co-parent, but when it comes to the kids, it's like nothing. If we can't come to an agreement, it's out the window. That's
Right.
like if you want. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I completely agree with you. When we talk about co-parenting, my co-parenting class is almost 3 hours, and it was only supposed to be an hour. It goes over every time. But I wanted to just make sure that I just brought like light to the male perspective, or the paternal perspective when it comes down to co-parenting, because often it's only viewed on the maternal side. And then when it gets to like, I'm going to court, then it's viewed on the paternal side, but it's kind of too late. So I wanted to make sure I just quickly touched in onto that, like what does co-parenting mean to you? And it's clear to me from all of the panelists, co-parenting doesn't start, later. It starts in the beginning, and it continues and it flourishes throughout, the child's life. And I think, Hakeem, I think that's what you were trying to say to the world, that it takes a lot to be a co-parent, but you can successfully co-parent. There were quite a few questions in the chat. I'm going to read a couple, and because some of them I feel like were definitely specific to certain panelists. The first one, which was from Miss Charlotte, it says, you touched on a village. What advice would you give to breastfeeding parents or new parents who do not have the support of friends or family? I think that would definitely be a Randall answer, if no one else had any other thoughts around that. But definitely that one was the most popular question of them all, so I just wanted to definitely address that one.
I would say honestly, I honestly don't know what it's like. My mom has always been in my village forever, because it's always, I'm the only child, and my mom had my sister when I was 13, but me and my mom were always really close, and I couldn't imagine what it would be like to not have someone in your corner like that. But I would say there's always someone out there who will genuinely care about you, and it's about choosing the right people to be in your life. And if honestly, if they're not willing to help you, then they shouldn't even really be around you. So I would definitely say to see who in your life has done the most for you or impacted you the most, and just stay in touch with them, or invite them to things, or ask them to hang out with you, or anything, just to get a little bit closer, so you have somebody with you at least.
Thank you so much. And the other questions that were in the chat were based around, like, how can we get more information out? So Dr. Onaje will definitely put all of the links, or Mia, who is behind the scenes, will definitely put our link for the Fatherhood Initiative program that we have here at Delaware County through the foundation. As mentioned, Dr. Onaje is the leader of that program. So he can definitely gear you and keep you definitely in the light to know how can you be connected and spreading the word. As McKeem said, we could tell people, I want you to tell everybody, tell your grandparents. My father is in the background taking care of the kids now, and they didn't order $85 worth of food. So he's trying to figure this out. So just to tell you that the village continues and it doesn't stop. I want to definitely announce the raffle panelists who have won for our raffle that we were hosting, and I mentioned in the beginning. So the following raffle winners are Matt Eagle, Nikki Graham, Akeisha Grainer from the foundation, Kimberly Walker from the foundation's WIC department, Kiana Quigley, a former webinar participant and also Randall's partner. So congratulations to everyone that was. I am so excited. I never win anything, so to see somebody else win something, I'm definitely excited for that. And we want to definitely thank everyone for taking an hour and a half of your time to just check in with us about the paternal wellness, about the village, and how we are still continuing to make strides. It's going to take some time. We have these committees up for a reason, and if anyone is interested in joining, Mia will definitely put the information for you to get a hold of myself or for her, so that we can keep this conversation going. And I didn't get to say in the very beginning, happy Father's Day to all of the panelists. Father's Day is every day, not just on whatever day of the week it was, because it was Juneteenth, Father's Day. It was a million things on June 20th. And on Mother's Day, I can't think of anything because I stay in the bed all day. So you are honored and always viewed in my eye. You guys are amazing. And we thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. We couldn't have done this without you. And your conversation definitely had led us to create a poll. Of course, if you know us, you know the poll was coming. So before you log off, if you could just answer, there's just a few questions. No answer is wrong. This helps us to get a better understanding of how we can continue the conversation in the most positive and authentic light possible. And as Dr. Onaje mentioned, the Fatherhood Engagement Committee meets every second Wednesday of the month. And again, if you are interested, please be sure to reach out to myself or Mia so that we can get you on that panel. Dr. Onaje, they're already pouring in. So you have that interest coming in already. And thank you so much for all of your supports this afternoon. And we have about 7 minutes. So guys, if we left anything out that you definitely wanted to touch on, feel free to take this opportunity as everyone is, creating your their polls. If we left something out that you just want to make sure, like Jared, if you want to, provide your doula information so that we'll know how to get in contact with you, because we need our fathers connected to such great wisdom. If you would like to put it in the chat, you can. Just ways of reconnecting. Thank you,
Yeah, I
everyone.
actually wanted to take this time to actually just kind of echo what Randall said. If you don't have that like village, those kind of family members, like there's also friends. Like if you have a best friend, just like lean on them. But also there's just like tons of resources out there. So communication is key, so just talk to somebody and you know, because in those moments of postpartum, like it's really tough to lean on your own understanding sometimes. So just make sure you have any sort of village out there, and if you don't have it, there are people out there who's willing to listen and who's willing to give you the support that you need. So just reach out to someone and communicate. But I am on Instagram and all the other things, just doula daddy. But you can also email me at hello.daddydoula@gmail.com. So I'm here. Let me know what you need.
In the true doula voice, let me know what you need. That is our motto. How can I help you? McKean, would you like to extend any of your information if anyone would like to contact you after to keep the conversation going?
Okay, yeah. Yes, I'm on Instagram. I got a lot of Instagrams, matter of fact. So I get Facebook in my email.
Yep.
My email is Makeem, Makeem, 1178 @gmail.com. And Instagram, well, Facebook at Keemy Keem, Keemy, Keem. I'll just give them to because my Instagram is complicated to for others to probably find it.
And that is fine. It's just a way to connect. And, normally, more resources come in and, sometimes people reach back out for more support. And last but not least, Randall, would you like to leave any of your contact information to continue the message? And you don't have to if you don't want to, but I want to throw it out there. Randall's in construction, guys. If anybody needs support like I do.
Yeah, my Facebook is just my name, Randall, 2 L's and A's, because people usually do ELL. But yeah, especially if anybody has questions about, a home birth, because I didn't have anyone to like talk to about it first. I was pretty scared like the whole time, and it really is not. It really is, safer than a lot of people would think, and I do honestly think it was a better option. So if anyone has any questions about that, I'd be willing to help you with that.
Well, there you have it. The information is in the chat for all those to see. Dr. Onaje, do you have any last words? We have about 4 minutes left.
Thank you. Yeah, my appreciation to the Breastfeeding Coalition for having us here and inviting me to host, to be the moderator, and to the gentleman who did a phenomenal job in terms of being honest and transparent and very informative, right? It was educational. And I would hope that many young men would listen to them, the things that they had brought forth. It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you so very much. I'd like to invite everyone to become a member of the the Fatherhood Engagement Committee that meets the second Wednesday of each month. Because if we're going to spread the word and spread this education out to the larger community, it only can be done through you. So everyone who's here, we're dependent upon you to continue to make this connection and continue this conversation. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Mia, can you please unmute your screen just for a second? Mia is behind the scenes with us today, and Mia has done a phenomenal, remarkable job, and she just never gives herself enough credit. So as her co-chair, and the roles were flipped today. So Mia, do you have anything that you would like to add for today's webinar?
I would just like to thank everyone in the panel and our participants for coming today. This was our last webinar for our first food mini grant that we got. So thank you very much. I'm excited that we ended on a good note. There's been a lot of hard work completing these webinars from top to bottom. That a lot of people don't know. It's not easy at all. There's a lot of steps in the process. So I just want to thank everybody, especially Kamaya, for she's been my right hand in everything. And this was her first time behind the scenes. She's usually in front of the camera. So she took my spot for being in front of the camera. So the roles have definitely changed. But I'm excited to see what Kamaya is going to do next, since she will be taking my spot. And I'm just very thankful that our webinars have reached a wide audience. And again, for you guys being vulnerable and for taking your time out of your very busy schedules, with Makeem having a baby on the way, Jared having his business and his family, Randall having a little baby, and, you know, working, as you can see. And Dr. Onaje's had a week full of events, the one that I was at last night, and he has another one tomorrow. So everybody, I just want to thank you. And today was amazing. You all did very well. And hopefully we'll have you on for another one of our Delaware County Breastfeeding Coalition webinars very soon. That's all I have.
Amazing, amazing.
All right, so thank you everybody for coming on, and the link for today's webinar will be sent out so you guys can share it. It will be on the foundation's YouTube page and all of our social media, but it will also be sent out to everyone that registered, as well as to the panelists. So we thank you guys, and we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Panelists, stay on for me, please.